President Donald Trump was interviewed before the Super Bowl by Fox host Bret Baier and was immediately stumped by a very simple question.
If all goes to plan, when do you think families will be able to feel prices going down, groceries, energy, or are you kind of saying to them, hang on, inflation may get worse until it gets better?
No, I think we're going to become a rich. Look, we're not that rich right now. We owe $36 trillion. That's because we let all these nations take advantage of us. Same thing, like 200 billion with Canada. We owe 300. We have a deficit with Mexico of $350 billion. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that happen.
What? Okay. You understand? We're going to be rich. We're going to be rich. We're not very rich now. Look at the deficits. I think he just conflated the trade deficit with the national debt. They're not the same things. Okay. Look, his numbers don't really add up. Look. I mean, for example, the census report that in 2024, the goods trade deficit with Mexico was about $172 billion. And in 2023, it was around $152.5 billion. Now, is a trade deficit bad? I mean, it depends, right? Look, if we have a lot of natural resources, but we don't have manufacturing, then, yeah, I suppose it would make sense to, import finished goods, import more finished goods than resources. But if it's the opposite, it would make more sense to import more raw materials. Now, in our case, we don't necessarily build a ton here. Okay? We import a lot of stuff from Canada, Mexico, and other countries. All right? Now, does that mean that we're getting taken advantage of? No, not necessarily. Trade is a nuanced issue that involves plenty of other different factors. So having a trade deficit in itself is not like, oh my God, it's horrible, and what a terrible thing, and we're being taken advantage of. No. That said, I would say that some of the free trade agreements have harmed American workers, because there are countries that, not because that they're taking advantage of us, but because the CEOs are actually taking advantage of a cheaper workforce in another country, and actually are allowed to bank their money overseas to keep it out of range of U.S. taxes. And then you have people like Trump that come in and go, oh, let's just allow you to repatriate your money tax-free. So, yeah. But anyway, let's get to the big question, right? Inflation. Inflation! Trump says he's going to end inflation, and that prices are going to come down. They'll come down so fast. Oh, faster than your head will spin. The only problem is the only way to really end inflation is to have an economic crash. Okay? So I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend going through Depression 2.0, okay, to bring the price of eggs down, because that's going to be a lot of pain and a lot of disaster. That said, are there things that you can do? Yeah, you go after the price gougers. For one, you can also, in the case of home prices, have more houses built. Also, while borrowing private equity from buying it all, because that's one of the big problems here is private equity coming in and commodifying houses. Okay? You put an end to that, yeah, home prices are going to go down. Okay? There's a lot of stuff that you can do to fight the over 50% increase in grocery prices that had nothing to do with inflation. Okay? That said, is Trump going to do it? No. Well, of course not. What? No. He told NBC News that he could not guarantee prices would come down, and then telling Time, quote, it's hard to bring things down once they're up. It's very hard. But wait a minute. You said things were it was going to go down. It was going to go down. No, you're doing everything you can to make it go up. And you know why? It's because Trump and the Republicans are paid by those same companies that raise their prices, not because of inflation, but because of greedflation. Okay? These companies, a lot of them made billions of dollars in profits by keeping their prices high. Now, at a certain point, there was a time where, oh my God, the prices of stuff, of stuff that we use to, in our supply chain, whatever, went way up. Oh my God, because of COVID. all right, so yeah, for the time being, you had to raise your prices or else you were going to lose a whole bunch of money. And then, shockingly, or not shockingly, when those input prices went back down, their prices for selling the stuff stayed really high. And they kept blaming, oh, it's inflation, it's inflation. No, it's greedflation. You did this. Look, in 2024, the FTC released a report finding that many large retailers did not drop their prices when their input costs had dropped. They instead kept those prices. They gave executive bonuses. That's what they did with the money. Okay? And while, of course, blaming inflation. Oh, inflation. No. Look, it's no wonder why Trump doesn't want to do anything about this because, well, he doesn't, he doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to. Okay. Yeah, things like egg prices, though, for example, he actually couldn't do anything about them, even if he wanted to. Why is that? It's bird flu. I mean, that's it. Bird flu. Now, that said, he might not be able to make anything better, but he certainly could make things worse. Why? How? Silencing the CDC. For one, something that he's done. Silencing the CDC is going to ensure that nobody's really going to know the number of bird flu infections because, well, they're not reporting them anymore. I mean, it goes back to COVID, right? Oh, just don't report the numbers because they look bad. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's still happening. Bird flu is still killing chickens. Okay, you still have that issue, and you still have cows getting sick now. Okay, it can spread to cats, humans. So that stuff that's currently happening, even if they're not reporting on it. And not reporting on it, it's not going to make it go away. It's actually going to make it worse. So, look, at the end of the day, when it comes to economic issues, it's very, very clear that Donald Trump never had a plan to help the working class, middle class, whatever you want to call it. His only plan, as always, is to help the rich by gutting the poor. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.